everybody, let's start with the particle nature of waves, and this is lecture 1. Today we are going to talk about X-rays. X-rays were discovered by Röntgen in 1895, and this discovery of X-rays, it was an accidental discovery. So when he was studying the discharge of electricity through rarefied gases, he accidentally discovered that some invisible radiation of unknown nature organized at the point in the discharge tube where the glass wall was struck by the cathode rays. And at the same time, the glass also displayed strong glow or fluorescence. And Röntgen, he called the radiation as X-rays. So Bakla in 1906 proved that X-rays are electromagnetic radiation of very small wavelength. So let's talk about properties of X-rays. So X-rays travel in straight lines and they are not deflected by electric and magnetic field. X-rays are electromagnetic waves with wavelength ranging from zero point 0.1 angstrom to 100 angstrom unit. So you can see that the shorter wavelength overlaps with that of gamma rays, and the longer to that of with the ultraviolet rays. Unit for wavelength of X-rays, it is XU. So X stands for 10 raised to minus 13 meter. X-rays ionize the medium through which they pass. X-rays cause phosphorescent substances to glow, and they also affect photographic plates. So let us see the production of X-ray. So this tube, glass tube, which is used for the production of X-ray, it was designed by Coolidge. So it is also called as Coolidge tube. So here you can see there is a filament and it is heated with the help of some supply over here, and just a second, and there is a cathode which is heated with the help of a filament. So here electrons are emitted from the cathode because of the heat energy which is supplied to filament. So that is how this is thermionic emission. This is anode, positively charged electrode, and here we are supplying accelerating voltage V, so that the electrons which are coming out from the cathode, they get accelerated. Or here the basically anode, it is called as target. So, and the X-rays, the anode, it is made slanting so that X-rays will come out like this. Okay. So the cathode is generally made up of tungsten. It is heated by a filament F through which a current is passed. It emits electrons by thermionic emission. Voltage V accelerates the electron, which then falls on a target which is inset within the face of the anode. The target should have a high melting point because electrons which are coming out from the cathode, they are highly energetic. So that is how the target material which we are using, it should have a high melting point. And the anode, usually it is made up of copper, and it is either liquid or air cooled to prevent undue temperature rise on electron bombardment. The face of the target is inclined at about 60 degree, which we have shown, I have shown you this, that it is inclined at about 60 degree. You can see here, this, it is inclined at 60 degree to the incident beam of electrons, so that the X-rays that leave the target pass through the side of the tube. See, the X-rays will pass the side of the tube. Otherwise, if it is made like this, then it may go in the opposite direction. So X-rays that leave the target pass through the side of the tube. The tube is evacuated to prevent any obstruction in the path of electrons. So just now we have seen the experimental setup for production of X-rays. Now let us talk about the experimental observations. So if we increase the accelerating potential V, which we are supplying between anode and cathode, then X-rays of higher penetrating power are produced. If the current through the filament is increased, the intensity of X-rays increases, because if you will increase the current through the filament, more and more number of electrons will be emitted. That is how the intensity of X-rays will increase. And spectra of X-rays with the different targets are different. So very important thing to notice here is, if you will compare X-ray production with photoelectric effect, you can see that X-ray production, it is nothing but just inverse of photoelectric effect. X-ray production, we can regard it as an inverse photoelectric effect. How? In X-ray production, electrons collide with the target and produce photons of X-rays, that is electromagnetic radiation. What happens in case of photoelectric effect? In photoelectric effect, photons, that is nothing but light, fall on a target, impart energy to the bound electrons in it and eject them. So in short, in case of X-ray production, electrons produce photons, and in case of photoelectric effect, photons produce electrons. So that is how we can call X-ray production as inverse of photoelectric effect. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.